Day 8, non-conformity company. Today is nonco automate. No breakfast picnic, unfortunately. It's 6:30 in the morning. Gonna get the video in early because I'm going off to work making food in a cafe that I do once a week because I like doing different things, as I'm probably sure you've picked up by now. But yeah, today nonco automate, noncoautomate.com is all about the idea of getting people to start thinking about their lives in terms of time, and time being the most valuable resource. No matter how much money you've got, no matter where your health's at, no matter what's going on in your life, the one common denominator for all of us is we all have the same amount of time. In a week, 168 hours. Take off the 8 hours sleep, it's 112 left. Now, I've mentioned before, splitting those into the 5 areas, it leaves exactly 22 hours for each one of the 5 departments: your health, your work, your finances, your people, and evolution. So 22 hours in the work category, that's about 3 days. Most people are used to working 5 days. I like the idea of 3 days. And then you've got more time for everything else to have a balanced life. So, but nonco automate is about you starting to value time as a resource. I'll tell you a story when this hit me. And this website, this business is all about, well, education, but just very, very simple, a very, very simple realization. Once you get this and start to get into this, your life will really start to improve and change. Back in 2016, it must have been 2017, because I'd gone to Bali one way, 2016 September, and I only had money for a couple of months. So I'd bought the domain nonconformity company before I went, because, not nonconformity company, nonconformity university. And so that's kind of when the name nonconformity first came into my mind. But anyway, that one's to come. And what I thought I'd do, I was researching every different way, because I'd found the term digital nomad, and I was like, yeah, that's me. I want to earn online and be free to travel around the world. Sounds, yeah, great, let's go. So I was researching all the different ways and testing all the different ways to make money online. And while doing that, I thought, well, if I make a website and start to profile and promote, or just talk about and educate other people on the ones that worked, it would motivate me to learn more. So I was looking out for all these ways, but things were slowly building on those, but it wasn't very successful. So what I was also doing, I started in Bali doing business consulting, putting the word out. Loads of people coming in and out, they all want branding websites, they're all starting a business. So I started doing that for people, and that started to grow quite nicely, and I was earning enough to live and stay comfortably in Bali. I was enjoying the work, meeting new people, and then so much so that I ended up getting somebody I knew back in England to help me out a bit. And I remember the night, I specifically, because I got to pretty much the busiest point that I'd been, and this guy who was helping me just completely had all this work that he was supposed to have done, and he just disappeared and dropped me, and it was really weird, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I remember I was sitting at the co-working space dojo very late at night, and I had all this work to do for clients, and I was just like, oh God, what am I going to do? And then I thought, well, I've read about all of this outsourcing, arbitraging different workers from around the world. I'd come across it in podcasts, on websites, and in books that I'd read. And I was like, well, I know about this, but I'm not actually doing it. Why don't I actually start doing this? Start outsourcing my work. And so, yeah, that night I went to Upwork, and I started finding specialists in each one of the areas. I found a website specialist, I found a Facebook ads specialist, a Google AdWords specialist, branding and graphics person in India. And these people are scattered all around the world, and I found Harry Babel was the website expert. He worked out really, really well. Some of them didn't. It is a bit of a game like that. You have to obviously sift through and find, but obviously now I've been doing it for years, and I've trial and tested loads of people, and obviously the ones that work really, really well you keep in contact with and you do more work with. So I was able to then satisfy my clients' needs whilst coordinating everything and not having to do the work. Harry Babel was like $11 an hour, so I could pay him to do the work, put a markup on it and coordinate everything that I was doing. So my customers were still getting a good price, I was getting paid, the workers around the world were also getting paid, and it worked really well. But it kind of wasn't worth my time to be doing a lot of this stuff. And that's the lesson of today and nonco automate. I want you to look at your life. Let's take your job, for example. Most people, if you're working 40 hours a week, we're trying to, especially if you're working from home, I guess it's hard to quantify the hours sometimes. And what I want you to do is try and look at something. If you can find a task that you're doing in your job or in your life that's that's a repetitive task, let's say it's a spreadsheet work, some data entry, whatever it is, a lot of this stuff, if it can't be automated or semi-automated, it can be outsourced. So if there's something you're doing in your job for say five hours a week, and you know let's say you're on £25 an hour, £30 an hour, whatever it is, £30 an hour, that job you can outsource to somebody else. And if it's less than the £30, you could find somebody for £10, $10 in India or the Philippines to do that job for you every week. So you're buying back 5 hours. Let's say it's $10. You're buying back and getting paid for those $30. You're getting paid $150, but you're going to spend $50 to get those 5 hours back. And this is how you can start to rebalance your life, even with a full-time job, by buying back time and valuing time as a resource. A lot of those 112 hours a week are repetitive things. So even down to going on to, say, online shopping, I've got a system for that to save time, even if it's a 5-minute thing. Once you, Jesus Christ, pheasant in the grass. Oh, where was I? Yeah, time, resource, important. I want you to start looking at your life, seeing what you can do to either outsource, and I'm going to be showing you how on nonco automate, where to outsource, how to find these people. We've also got a few other nonco projects coming up that will link to this and will help. But nonco automate, I want you to find one thing in your life that you repeat every week. Go to Upwork or go to one of the resources on our site, either find a tool that can automate it or find and outsource it. I mean, you can even just get a part-time assistant for somebody to do all of your kind of odd jobs. So there might be, you know, you might have 5 or 6 things in your job that are just a bit menial and boring. And yeah, you could just have an assistant that's hooked up, and just you have a communication system where anything you do, you just put to them. So it could be a fixed job, or it could be, yeah, getting an assistant to help you out a bit more with these things. Because a lot of jobs now, a lot of people in positions, if they're not already looking at how they can automate and optimize their time, then they're going to be replaced or semi-replaced. And I'm not, with the AI and the tech that's coming along, a lot of jobs and industries are going to be completely changed. And it won't be that all of the people disappear, okay? This will be a gradual process. But what it will be is, say, one person will then start to be able to do the role of 2 people, because half of the stuff, half of the time, half of the processes have been automated with AI. So if you're not actively looking at this and getting on board, then you're going to be naturally left behind, I believe. And I would say, if you're in a job and you're in a company, a lot of people are trying to, like, oh, I'm so busy, I've done all these things and I've done all these hours. I think you should be the opposite. I think you should look to take that 40 hours, automate, outsource, and make efficient every little bit you can, and then go to your boss and say, look, boss, my 40 hours, I get done in 26 now. I can help the company and everybody get more efficient for this, so we have more money. Maybe then a lot of people are scared losing their jobs, but then maybe you could say, well, let's trial a 4-day week, you know, let's trial a 7-hour day, because we can use tech with this. So it's not all about, you know, tech taking over jobs. You can then suggest, hey, maybe we'll all be a bit happier if we're working a few hours and use this tech. I think, yeah, you should just think about maybe going about things like that if you're in a kind of company situation, rather than trying to hide in the shadows. I would yeah, get into this and get forward, because things are developing at a rapid rate. So yeah, nonco, automate, time, valuable resource. It's the only thing that's ticking away that you can't buy back and you can't get back. So the key is to start looking at your week, designing a week that's right for you. And for me, that's having an equal amount of time for those 5 departments. You know, I need time. I want time to read and learn new things. I need it. I need time for my health. That's why we're doing these breakfast picnics. Well, most days, you know, that's 2.5 hours a day. You know, in the health category, you could say, but that's priority for us. You just have an epic time, you feel great, and the rest of the day is just incredible. So I want time for my family, my partner, quality time. I don't just want that to come at the end of work. A lot of people, it's like we're working a lot so we can then have a little bit of time off. I want it the opposite. You know, I want to design the life of everything I want to do and everything that I want and fit work into that. So I believe it's possible for everybody. Even if you're young and don't have many skills, as long as you start thinking like that, you can go and learn and get into any of this stuff. Believe me, you just have to really start doing it. Get uncomfortable. It might be a bit scary, but that's the point. I'm not here for very long. So noncoautomate.com. We're just going to start with a few little ways for you to start thinking. And if anything, just if you've got a half an hour task you're doing every week, go and outsource it. Just go and outsource it. Once you get into this, believe me, it gets quite addictive. So I'll see you tomorrow for, well, I don't know yet. We will see, won't we?